fact that Khia was paid and asked to participate at a DC Pride event isn't surprising to me. The same way that a Young Miami, aka Carisha, was asked and paid to participate at DC Pride. These individuals, like them, have been making money off of a community that they do not care about. And the fact that they were able to get an audience tells us a lot about said community. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck
on. What's going on, you all? I know you all have seen the mess. The Khia TS Madison drama has stirred up again, and TS Madison let it loose on Khia after Khia accused TS Madison of trying to stop her bag. She said that TS Madison tried to stop her from making money at this Pride event, and that she does not have any issues with the LGBTQ community at all. And TS Madison is mad and all the things. Now, TS Madison ate her up in the video. Ate her up. I can't even play it because it's so bad. But she basically said, Khia, ain't nobody tried to stop your bag. The fact that I even said it was okay for you to get them $2,500 in the lemon pepper wings, you should be grateful. So for those who do not know, Khia and TS Madison have been beefing for years. I mean, they had their show that was getting everybody's attention. Like, they had a very successful show, very entertaining. And they used to have banter like out of this world. Like, some of the clips from that show are still being used today. The infamous electric chair, the videos of TS Madison falling out the chair. Like, they are two people who we enjoyed for years. But I've always felt some type of way about Khia and how she talked about the community, how she talked about certain things. And it was always very homophobic, to be honest. If we're being honest, like, Khia has been notorious for it. She was sitting next to TS Madison saying some of these things for a while, and she ramped it up even more after her and TS Madison fell out. Like, that was the first thing that she did, was misgender TS Madison right then and there after they fell out. After it was known that they were not cool anymore, she misgendered her several times, talked about her like a doll. And TS Madison has been able to do a lot of things after. Like, she's been able to do stuff with Beyonce. She was on Beyonce's album Renaissance. She's been on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, she has bookings. She's doing stuff. I'm proud of TS Madison, to be honest. And Khia hasn't really had the same success as TS Madison, and that's no surprise. I mean, Khia has stopped a lot of her own bags, if we're being honest. But I will say it is very interesting to see Khia kind of change her tone a little bit. The fact that she came out and she said that I don't have any issues with the LGBTQ community, and my issue is with TS Madison, and misgendered her in front of all of these queer people. All these queer people who are here for DC Pride. Now, this video, of course, is going to ruffle some feathers, and it needs to be said. I remember last year doing the red dress run. I remember this tweet last year, and I can't find it, but someone asked, what issue do you all have with all of these events? Y'all don't like red dress run, y'all don't like the deviant events, y'all don't like Pride, like, what is it? And the reason is because these events are not community based. I need us to understand that, yes, you see your homegirls, you have fun, you see folks you haven't seen in a couple of years or whatever. It is fun, but these are not community events. And we need to understand that. That is why we have issues like a person like Khia being front and center. Because if this was truly about community, Khia would not have been even thought of, to be honest. What we have is a bunch of promoters who are making money off of said community. And it's not specific to DC Pride. It happens in Atlanta Pride. It happens in all the prides, to be honest. I want people to understand that it doesn't make it a bad thing, but I am also tired of people trying to frame this as a community event, because if this was truly community, I would see more diversity. If this was truly about community, I would see more inclusion. And that's something that we don't see. There was a flyer that got a lot of attention about a pool party or a backyard party that was only for masked fit men. And they said it was going to be strictly enforced. Strictly enforced, meaning they're going to have you on a tape measure. They're going to be looking at you. They are going to be on their slave stuff. Like, they're going to have you auctioning yourself to get inside this pool party. That's how strict it was. And some folks didn't see no issue with it. Like, oh, y'all mad. This is a party that's for DC. Now, it's not quote unquote affiliated with DC Pride. Anyone can throw a party DC Pride weekend around that. It doesn't even have to associate with that. But the fact that we see so many of these, from the parties, the flyers at the clubs, like the people that we see, those folks who we see oftentimes on the lineup all look the same. They're very masked, gym body people. Like, it's oftentimes not even queer folks on the flyer.
And while in the middle of editing this video, I run across a TikTok of a heterosexual male being told that he can come to Pride, to DC Pride, and make money. Not because he is queer, just because he looks a certain type of way. So again, how are these supposed to be community events? And it's wrapped up in desire to the point that we want someone to show up who doesn't even represent our community.
Because that is what gets attention, like desire. And this is not something specific to the queer community. I want to make sure that folks understand that this happens with heterosexual community as well. But this idea that these events are community doesn't make sense to me when I see time and time again when certain folks show up, they get scrutinized. The videos that get a lot of attention are either very desirable folks. You see the clips of dapping up tens and Red DC Pride weekend and all these black gays, and they're walking up to an age. I'm so confused. What is going on? Like, this isn't a community where the femmes are even that present. You remember 2 years ago, there were some femme queers who were out and they were filmed and talked about on social media for a couple of days. When the red dress run comes and you see all these very masked gym body men running for the, or not even participating, just wearing the red outfits or dresses, it's catered towards gym body men. And the same men who put on this dress for one day go off to make some of the most disgusting comments about trans folks and femmes and queers. So I want folks to enjoy it and have their fun. I want people to understand there's nothing wrong with that. But if we are to critique Khia and how she's able to be in this space and how she misgendered TS Madison, we also need to have a conversation within our own community of how we treat queer, trans, non-binary folks and how we look at them as the other, how we other them. And then we're surprised that they don't want to come to these events. This is why a lot of folks like me don't feel comfortable coming to these events, because we see so much about it, like how it is heavily on how you look, how you are perceived. The conversation that is happening right now about, hey, you don't look that good to be talking down to folks. To say that only a person who is attractive is allowed to critique. We have to think about, what does that say if we're saying, hey girl, you're not a 10 to be calling folks out. So only a person who benefits from desire at the most is allowed to critique or make comments about people's looks. We know that, which is why I'm going to get into a conversation about looks do mean a lot. Looks do matter when people are choosing friendships. Looks do matter when we are promoting a backyard pool party. Looks do matter when we're promoting an event at a club. And if you don't fit the aesthetic, you can be something different and be a Khia or a Young Miami. You don't have to care about community, but you can use community. We can allow you to be here and use community in this way. Khia and Young Miami should have never been asked to participate in any of these things. But again, these promoters are not interested about community. They are interested in making $1. Like, these are not organizers for things for the community. How many parties did you go to this weekend where if a person needed wheelchair assistance or a way to get inside, was that accessible? Was it accessible for all queer people? We don't think about these things because that's not what we're looking for. So these are not community events. They're clubs and fun. Nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. But what I won't allow folks to do is to try to paint these as community events. So yes, Khia and TS Madison being asked to participate in these things. And now folks reacting and saying, hey, how are they here? Because none of this is around community. I saw a TikTok video from a non-binary person who said, I didn't see people who look like me at these events and at these parties. I'm sure there were some non-binary folks who were there. I have a friend who's non-binary who was there and participated in the activities, but this queer person was femme presenting. And that is something I did not see. Like, that's something I did not see in the crowds, in the videos. And oftentimes when I do see someone who is dressed like them, they will be made fun of. Like, even the ones who are masked, if you are fat, they're going to talk about how you look bad in your outfit. And I'm not saying that this is all that happens DC Pride, because there's a lot of amazing things that happen. People who are meeting for the first time after following someone on Twitter or social media for years, meeting them in person and kikiing and laughing and joking with them. So I'm not saying that this is the only thing. I don't want to get caught up in the weeds of all y'all do is get drunk and y'all party and y'all want to be sluts and my friends will get more attention than me because I look husband material. None of that stuff I want to talk about. I'm not interested in that because I feel like people do that and have been doing that for years. And to one of the tweets I saw about why is it every time DC Pride happen or Pride happen, y'all so catty online, y'all talking, because it's a big event that just happened. It's a big, huge event. That's going to happen with anything. If there's a big event that's going to happen, there's going to be people who are going to talk about their experience and people are going to respond to that. We're doing a lot of work to defend and protect things that don't need to be protected or defended. I'm seeing this response to Khia again, and no one in that event said, hey, Khia, we're not going to allow you to misgender our trans sister on this stage in front of all of us. I barely heard any boos, if any, against Khia. Khia was able to say all the things. Like, this is a person who's made so many comments about people living with HIV, made several comments about AIDS, made jokes about it, and sitting right in front of these folks getting paid $2,500 in lemon pepper wings, probably honey hot, to do what? Play a song that we listen to every once in a while. It's not even the fact that it's TS Madison that Khia is talking about. This is our trans sister. This is someone in our community that she has disrespected. If you disrespect one trans person, you disrespected the trans community, point blank, period. TS Madison is somebody who is very successful, who has community around her, who doesn't have to worry about the type of hatred that a trans person who does not have the same resources as a TS Madison is treated. Like, we got some work to do. And it's not something that, again, it's not specific to even the Black queer community, because the white, they do it too. They even worse, to be honest. But how we show up for our trans sisters and our trans brothers and our non-binary folks matters. How we show up for the they, thems, the people who do not look like us, matters a lot. Because if we don't, we allow people like Khia and a Young Miami come in and make money off of it, to make money off of our hatred to folks in our own community. Young Miami, who has not really taken any accountability for the thing that she said about her son, if she was to have a queer son or gay son, how she would bop him upside the head if she saw him playing with a toy. A conversation that triggered a lot of us who have experienced that, who have been through that, where they had to hide their feminine qualities or feminine ways to not be harassed. So if you as a cis gay man had to do this in protection of yourself, not playing and not doing certain things, What do you think about a person who is trans, who is being perceived in a gender that they don't believe is them? What do you say to those type of people who cannot, quote unquote, hide these things, who have to perform certain things in safety of themselves? What does that say? So we got some work to do. We have a lot of work to do, and I know we can do it. I'm seeing the response to Khia and how folks are, no, this ain't cool. This ain't cool. And I love that. And I want to say this. I have the utmost respect for TS Madison, but unfortunately, TS Madison was sitting next to Khia when she was saying these things. She was sitting next to a Khia when she was making these comments that were hurtful to people in our community, to her community. And I don't want to come down on TS Madison because I think she has done a lot. But I will say that I saw a clip of TS Madison and Craig. They have a show together, and the conversation came around pronouns, and Craig expressed that he doesn't care about it. He's not doing all of that. Doing the common thing of, I don't care about that gender stuff, like things, pronouns that we use all the time, having an issue with. And TS Madison pushed back on him and said, hey, Craig, like, then what them folks want to call, I just do it. But the issue that I'm having is it's time for us to speak up. TS Madison sitting next to Craig, and Craig feels comfortable saying these things, is giving me Khia all over again to a certain degree. Because if we let that slide, we let that go by, what's the difference between Khia? Because in the event that Craig and TS Madison falls out, and I don't think they will, I hope they do not, but are we going to see him disrespect and misgender TS Madison as well? Like, if that's how you feel towards, you don't want to call someone their preferred pronouns or the pronouns they want to go by, like that irritates you that much, how you respond with that level of anger about pronouns speaks a lot to your character, no shade. And some folks did not like that. I agreed with Angelica Ross and her calling out Craig. Angelica Ross was absolutely right. This is a trans woman who is dark-skinned, who has experienced a lot, and she's in the industry, so there's no telling what other things she has experienced that she has not talked about publicly. Angelica Ross had every right to call out Craig, a person in her community, for the stuff that he was doing, because honestly, the way we talk about Khia and how she was disrespectful, a lot of folks unfortunately feel just like Khia. They think these things, they say these things. They might not say it out loud because they know the pushback, but trust me, if they get angry enough, they will say it. I've seen it happen. As much as I want to eat Khia up, it's just, what does this do for the community? Yeah, Khia is wrong. Yeah, I don't have to talk about Khia being in a slave cabin and all the other stuff and how she looks. None of that matters. Her even being broke, none of that matters, because that doesn't have anything to do with her behavior, because there's people who have money who are homophobic, transphobic as well. Like, that doesn't matter. We need to focus on the behavior. Khia is those things. Let's focus on that. I don't care what she looks like. I don't care what she's doing. I want to focus on the behavior, because after eating her up, what else? Because if we don't focus on the behavior, we allow folks to be able to get away, because we are associating these things with why a person thinks the way that they do. And that's not right. It's not okay. So yeah, like, again, I'm glad that everyone enjoyed themselves and everyone seemed to have a good time. I honestly was encouraged to, maybe I will go for the first time to a DC Pride next year. I would love to participate and be a part of these things, because my friends and the people who I know who went enjoyed themselves. But I will say that I do feel a way when certain folks say they do not feel comfortable coming to these things, and how they are dismissed because they don't fit the aesthetic. And we need to do a better job of making space for these folks. And we also need to realize that these people who are making money off of this are not concerned about community. They're concerned about profits. Like, a lot of these places that we want to say are for us, they will sell it for a Shake Shack to be built there. They do not care about community like that. We have to realize these folks are trying to get capital, which means they will exploit and do all the things they can to make money. We need to pay attention to what the actions are. If you are connecting with Khia and having her be at an event, knowing her history, I'm questioning you as a promoter. But it doesn't shock me because we had a promoter in LA who was very disrespectful to Amaya Scott, misgendered her, talked bad about her, and there's no public reaction to having him be accountable for that. Hey, you disrespected this trans girl, you misgender her, and there's somebody who we really look like. They did not show up for Amaya like they should have. Like, we saw this promoter be disrespectful to Amaya on social media, misgender her and all the things. No matter what business thing that they had that was probably messed up or whatever, there was no need for this promoter to misgender Amaya, but they did, and they felt comfortable doing it because they understood it was not going to be any backlash. They understood that. So yeah, again, these things are not community events. They are not community events. I want folks to understand it. Like, if we really want these things to be community events and to be for the community, we got to make sure that we're showing up for all of the community and not just the ones we want to represent us, because that doesn't make us no different than the folks who were upset at the statue in New York. That's all I got. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be respectful, because if you don't, I won't. That's all I got. Let me know, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.